As procurement professionals, the concept of cost is central to our everyday activity. And if you speak to your directors, they will say that one of the key aspects of procurement is actually looking at cost reduction. Now, when we reduce cost in a procurement function, we want to make sure that we still keep that value for money that we've been seeking, but recognising, as ever, the iron triangle, the relationship between quality, time and costs. When we make a saving, however, in the procurement function, we should be mindful that this goes straight through to the bottom line. If you look at the total costs that are spent by an organisation, they fall into a number of different areas. One is personnel, one is overheads and plant and machinery and so on. And then there's the rest of that procurement base which we as procurement professionals are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. If you look at your total sales, sales minus costs equals profit. So if we make a saving in procurement, this goes straight through to the bottom line profit. Because it is so important, lots of organisations will target the cost reduction activity very closely and they'll monitor it on a day-to-day basis. We need to be careful though how we actually cut costs. We can, on the one hand, look at trimming costs. And that's quite important where we're taking little bits of cost out of the day-to-day activities to try and generate a much bigger cost saving. You look at things like the United Airlines removing one olive from their in-flight meal and the impact that had on their bottom line. So we look at this day-to-day trimming of costs. But having said that, sometimes there are opportunities that we identify where we can make wholesale changes. Now this is a scythe, a very old way of cutting your grass at home. And what we don't want to do in procurement is scythe and hack away at costs, because actually that can cause adverse impact elsewhere in the organisation. And particularly to suppliers. If we start using heavy-handed methods to really hack at the costs, what you can find is that actually you can cause indefinite pain on the supplier. You know, that's the Grim Reaper, isn't it? And what we don't want to find is that we have killed off the supplier because we've undertaken our cost reduction activity too enthusiastically. What we should perhaps be doing is looking in the first instance for low-hanging fruit. These are the easy to achieve savings in the procurement activity that can actually really make an impact on the bottom line. There will be other deeper projects, but we should consider them as projects and consider them very carefully about how we're going to analyse them and deliver them. So again, just to recap, in procurement, the concept of cost is really, really important. And we need to think about what we're spending, but also the savings we can make through our day-to-day activities.